All right, we are back once again. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs, and man, y'all already know. My internet is straight hot garbage. Um, so I'll just wait for a second, let everybody file back in. I apologize once again for Streamlab connection going out. Sometimes the Streamlab works, and it seemed like we was, doing a really good job, with the Streamlab, and people were calling in, answering, asking questions, making comments, and next thing I know, I'm looking and saying it is reconnecting. So I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. But Chosen was on the phone, and he was talking a little bit about Sean Payton. He was talking about how Sean Payton has an ego issue, how he gets upset at the fact that people question him and his abilities and what he's done, and and also with the Who That Nation, bringing up stuff in the past. I'm gonna be 100% straight up with everybody here. Me personally, I'm just kind of sick and tired of talking about 2009. I mean, it was a great time. There was one time I thought that 2009 would have never happened. I used to sit back and watch the Saints, and I'd be like, man, my goodness, like, man, this team ain't never gonna be nothing. But I never lost faith in the team. I always believed that one day they would be successful, and that was proven right. But I mean, the world didn't stop in 2009. I mean, they didn't stop playing football in 2009. I would love to see the New Orleans Saints, excuse me, I would love to see the New Orleans Saints win another Super Bowl. And it hurts me that they've had such great teams over the past 3 years and they haven't yet go to the Super Bowl. They've been on the outside looking in. They just can't seem to get out of their own way. And one person that can't get out of their own way seems to be the coach, Sean Payton. Sean Payton, I got a lot of respect for him. I understand what he did for the New Orleans Saints, but sometimes I feel like he walks around so arrogant because he knows what he's done for the New Orleans Saints, and it's frustrating because he feels like, he is almost like, that person that, you're in a marriage, and I hate to kind of bring this up, but I mean, I feel like this is kind of relevant. It's like when you started off, you get married and everything is nice and is wonderful, and then time goes by. All of a sudden the marriage is on the rocks and you questioning the marriage, and all of a sudden this person telling you to get out their face, and I'm the reason why you got everything that you got. I mean, I bought the house, I bought the cars, I bought the dogs, I gave you everything, and you shouldn't question me, or I'll put you out on the street. I feel like he felt like, well, if y'all let me go, then y'all gonna be right back the way that it was. I think that Sean Payton is one of the most arrogant, egotistical coaches in the National Football League. I think he's a good play caller. I think he's very aggressive when he needs to be aggressive. But I sometimes feel like he gets in his own way. I feel like he needs to humble himself sometimes. I think that he needs to stop making things more complex than what they got to be. And he got to continue to put forth a better effort when it comes to running the football. You got to run the football, man. And if you're not going to run the football, then you're not going anywhere. You're not going to win any Super Bowls throwing the ball all over the place, all around the field like it's arena football. Not happening. You are not going to win a Super Bowl. Not going to happen. I have yet to see a team that just wins a Super Bowl with just throwing the ball 35, 45 times a game and think that you're going to do it, be able to win something. You'll probably win a couple games in the regular season, but at the end of the when it's time to play some real big boy football in the playoffs and things, everybody buckle down and people, you have their undivided, you're not going to be able to throw the ball all over the place. And I think sometimes, he thinks he has this great game plan because he has a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he takes that for granted, and he forgets about the other guys like the running game, the running backs and guys, the other guys that can contribute to the success of the team, and the Saints losing, and he want to get to the podium and get mad, and he don't want to talk for 12 minutes like he does when they win. He want to talk for 3 minutes with his lip poked out because he didn't call a good game. You got to call a spade, homie. You got to call it for what it is. The Sean Payton, his arrogance have cost the Saints quite a few games and where it matters most. Because I understand that Drew Brees is quarterback, but at the end of the day, I mean, you got a running game, you got an offensive line. It's supposed to be one of the best offensive lines in football, and you don't use those guys because you want to drop back and do 5-step and 7-step drops with Drew Brees and all that kind of stuff. You know, I'm just over that. And as long as he continues to play the game like that, as long as he calls the game like that, then we're going to be having these same issues. We're going to continuously, year after year, after, you know, they get to the playoffs, close but no cigars, we're going to be talking about the same old thing. And eventually, you know, people are going to get tired of it, and people are going to really start looking at Sean Payton and really start criticizing him. It's not about that. You know, if the New York Football Giants can get rid of Tom Coughlin, who won 2 Super Bowls, if the Green Bay Packers can get rid of Mike McCarthy, who won a Super Bowl, I mean, honestly, I mean, do you think that you are expendable? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you think you're not expendable, I should say. I mean, he might need to look in the mirror and make a tough decision. You know, like, you know, I got to make some changes for this team. If you don't, then we're gonna be in the same boat every single year. But once again, you can still call in. I know that we're no longer on Streamlabs, but you can still call in. I think listeners, viewers and can still hear the conversation. So if you have any questions or you want to give a comment about the New Orleans Saints, or you want to talk about free agency, the NFL draft, Drew Brees, whatever, you know, you can call in 504-354-0165. That's 504-354-0165. You can always call in. Let's see, Corey White. The Corey White? Speaking facts, need that ring badly. Yeah, Corey, we definitely need that ring, man. We definitely need that ring. I'm just getting tired of it. That's one thing that you don't want to do. You don't want to squander the opportunities that your team have. I mean, these guys had young players on rookie deals. I mean, honestly, man, the Saints could have won at least or had opportunity to go after at least 2 out of 3 Super Bowls, you know, that they had over the past 3 years. And they just squandered those opportunities. And that's one of the things that really bother me. And, you know, people have been asking me, they were like, TJ, why you just can't let go of this wild card game? Why are you so critical? It's because of that, because I know what this year actually meant. You could not have told me that the New Orleans Saints wouldn't have went to the NFC Championship game or better this season. Honestly, once again, if you just joined in or this is your first time checking out the podcast, I say it again. I was coasting through the season. The only thing that really mattered to me was the postseason. When the Saints ended up playing in the playoffs, I was like, okay, let's go ahead. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew they were going to make the playoffs. It was just a matter of what seed they was going to get and what their record was going to be. You know, but I knew they were going to make the postseason. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that the Saints were going to make the postseason. Even when Drew Brees went down, I still believed they was going to make the postseason. But just the fact of how they lost and where they lost and who they lost to, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, man. Hello, this is the State of the Saints. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. All right, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Sean. Calling from the 504 Uptown.
Okay, man. What's going on, man? What you got for me?
I heard what you said earlier about we need to sign Jimmy Smith, and I thought that was a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, everything you're saying about Sean Payton is definitely correct. I think, you know, he gets a little bit too in his feelings about, you know, being this great, you know, game plan caller, and he leaves the other guys out. You know, it's like he alienates the other guy, and then, you know, he only focuses on Michael Thomas and, you know, Alvin Kamara, and teams just come in game planning for that, and, you know, it ain't much to stop the Saints. You know,
right.
You know, get in his bag, and, you know what I mean, try to, you know, drug some different stuff like he did, you know, when Drew Brees was out. Like you said, you know, when Teddy Bridgewater was in there,
mm-hmm.
you know, he was coming up with some of his best stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you ran about it. And it's just like, you know, and I thought what the caller said to you earlier about, you know, Sheldon Rankin getting hurt. And then, you know, also, he wasn't the only one, you know, coming back from a big injury like that. Marcus Davenport did it last year too. You know, he got
Yeah,
hurt
true.
and it came back this year. And, you know what I mean? And it's like did the same thing. So do you look at these guys and do you feel as though this is a continuous thing with them? And do you move on from that? You know, I don't believe you do.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I want to stand on is like I thought one thing I saw majorly did was I think LSU needs to sign the kid Peyton Rand. I
Right.
think he's the next Joe Burrow
Right.
to come from the portal platform.
Right. Well, I agree with that, man. You know, as far as Peyton Ramsey, I mean, that guy has a lot of promise. I think if you play the same type of offense, even though they lost some key coaches and stuff like that, Joe Brady decided to go to Carolina. I still think they're going to still carry on the legacy at LSU, the same type of offense. So I do think that this guy, if you able to get this guy, he's going to really pay dividends. He has the potential to be, like you said, the next Joe Burrow and possibly win a Heisman. But to answer your question about
earlier today that
mm-hmm.
LSU was looking at the sign the guy from the LA Rams. I think his name is Wanderers. They're looking to bring him in this time. They say that's a new formula that they're going to adapt, to their program now.
Right.
After the young next hot thing like doing Joe Brady.
Right.
This kid's supposed to be it coming from Sean Payton. And that was another thing I also too want to ask you about. If Joe Brady was this good, and I'm glad he did go to LSU because obviously he wouldn't have. I don't know if he would have gotten a national championship. But do you think that Sean Payton could have kept this guy around and put him in the staff and implemented him better? Because he was calling better stuff than Pete Carmichael.
Right. Well, honestly, I don't think Sean Payton knew what he had with this guy. I've seen an interview. Sean Payton, the last thing he said to Joe Brady was he felt like he was making a mistake leaving. And the position that Joe Brady had, he wasn't like one of those guys that just had a huge say-so inside of the facility. I mean, he was kind of the guy behind the guy behind the guy. But he was just it's almost like, let's just say, for example, if you want to be a recording artist, right? And somebody say, well, we ain't got no, what I'm saying, we ain't not looking for an artist right now, but if you want to be on the road with us and stuff like that, and what I'm saying, carry a piano or carry a drum set or something, what I'm saying, and all of a sudden, like, you start working your way up. It's kind of the same thing, like eventually, you carrying a drum set, but you're listening to the artist, come up with these different ideas, and eventually that kind of rubs off on you. That's the same thing with Joe Brady. He had an opportunity. It wasn't like a huge job or anything like that, but he was basically like he was just a fly on the wall, and he took what he learned and he went to LSU with it, and the rest is history. So he's going to be a head coach down the line, no doubt about it. Somebody is going to invest in this guy. I mean, that's the new wave right now. The Sean McVay, young, sexy, what I'm saying, offensive play caller. That seems like that's the movement right now. So, I mean, honestly, you didn't know what you had. Like, they didn't know what they had with him. They didn't know he was going to be that successful. And honestly, I don't think they shed any tears when he left. But I mean, he bet on himself. It's like what Teddy Bridgewater said in the interview. He bet on himself and he won. You know what I'm saying? That's what Joe Brady did. He bet on himself. He looked at LSU as being a better opportunity for him to spread his wings, and he bet on himself. And now, he was a part of a national championship team, and now he's back in the NFL as an offensive coordinator. But to answer your question about some of these players that do I feel like they're damaged goods, or is this going to be a continued situation? Honestly, I don't think so, man. I think that I was telling Chosen, he called before you. I just think that Sheldon Rankin should have waited a little bit longer. I think that I don't know what was said to him.
Do you think our medical staff had a big thing to play in that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
I think they were more trash than a lot of people thought they were, and I think it really cost us down the line. Like big time. A lot of big time players, will constantly get hurt with this medical staff, and I just don't understand. If you want to be great, you gotta have all the key implements for you to do that.
Right.
For to go far.
Well, man, Hey, check this out. Man, these medical staff people don't care about these players, man. I mean, we know about this, man. Only thing they care about is these guys being on the field so it can make them look good. I feel like maybe somebody told him, that he was ready. They probably tried to rush him back, but I didn't think that was a smart business decision. Even when he came back, I was kind of skeptical about that. I mean, you have guys that weigh much less than him, and it takes these guys a good little minute to get back. And this guy's like over 300 pounds. I mean, that is 300 pounds of force. Every time like you take a step, you know what I'm saying, it's coming on that Achilles. I don't think he was ready. And I don't know if he got pressured or maybe he pushed himself to come back, but I don't think that was a smart decision. I think this time around, if he's not ready, he's going to really take his time and he's going to fully heal himself. I mean, honestly, I have a lot of faith in Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins has shown me, like, when he's on, he can be a really good defensive tackle. Man, it's kind of up in the air when it comes to Davenport. He does a lot of really good things. I mean, he's good at setting the edge. He's extremely athletic. But once again, the best ability is availability. And Marcus Davenport hasn't been available since he's been in the Saints uniform. And what the Saints have given up and what you actually seen what the Saints could have gotten, a potential NFL MVP, it just makes it even worse. But I have a lot of confidence in both of these guys. I think the Saints are going to sign back Sheldon Rankins, and I don't think they're ready to give up Davenport just yet. I think those guys can be the key contributors to the success of the team. But I don't think the Saints will be willing to give up on those guys just yet. But if this continues to happen, you're going to have to raise some eyebrows and really think about what you want to do, especially if these guys are starters. I mean, this can be somebody else starting position, and you want these guys to be on the field, and when they're not, I mean, the defense goes down, so you got to make a tough decision. But I'm not ready to give up on these guys just yet, man.
I mean, because we lost a lot of key guys, like Kiko Alonso.
Right.
Guys out for the year. You know what I mean? And, like, how can that all happen? Like we snake bitten, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I just can't see how that happens like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I agree. Kiko Alonso, I mean, that wasn't a surprise to me, man. I mean, Kiko, everywhere he went, he's been hurt. I mean, that's the only knock against him. I mean, he's a really good linebacker. I think he was defensive rookie of the year. I mean, he was that good, but he just can't stay healthy. And that's one of the reasons why he bounced around from team to team. But they do have issues with that, but you would think that they have learned from those mistakes, man. It seems like, they tried to get depth at those positions, but they still end up getting injured. So you got, I mean, that's what the coaching staff is for. You really got to take a closer look at the guys and seeing if these guys are going to be the right 53 going forward to get you where you need to be. And like I said, a few guys I'm not ready to give up on, like the Davenports and the Rankins of the world. But I think with Kiko Alonso, I think you can find another him.
Alex Anzalone, he's another one. Man.
Right, he's another.
I mean, like, we have issues like that, those certain positions, and Davenport is more better than what people think he is. Like,
I agree.
He did not only just set the edge. I mean, he was like up there at quarterback, QB rushes, and just affecting the run game. And I think that, we miss him majorly. We really miss him majorly. I think more than we miss Rankins because of how good Shot Tuttle and, those other guys played for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, losing Rankins was rough, but it's just like, how do we have these key guys losing like this, just dropping like flies? You know what I mean? Keep getting injured like this. And it's
right.
Like that's the long time of the year. I don't see that. Even Michael Thomas, with his hand. All right. I just don't understand him with this, man. And I just want to elaborate on that.
Well, I mean, it's football, man. Guys are going to get hurt. I mean, like they say, it's 100% injury rate that's going on in the NFL. Like, you're going to get hurt. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. I mean, it just comes with the territory, man. I know it's frustrating. Imagine how it is for those players, like the guys that get hurt. Oh, but you brought up Alex Anzalone, man. I mean, the one person that he reminds me of is Sean Lee. You know, Sean Lee is a guy that was really good for the Cowboys when he's out there. He wreaks havoc, he makes plays, but he can't stay on the field. But Alex Anzalone, you know, he's had that issue since he's been at Florida, and that's one of the reasons why he dropped down to, I think, maybe like the fifth when the Saints picked him up. They thought that they had something, which they do when he's healthy. He's, you know, he can play really well, but once again, that's one of those tough questions. You know, do you have the right guy? I mean, is this guy going to be able to, you know, go out there and constantly work towards, you know, the success of the team? And to answer your question with Alex Anzalone, the answer is no. But I don't, honestly, I don't see them getting rid of Anzalone. I think the way that he plays and the fact that he got injured, I mean, he's not going to be a top dollar linebacker, you know, so I think they're most likely going to end up signing him back. But I do believe that you need to possibly go into free agency, look at available linebacker, and maybe get a linebacker late in the draft. So I do think that you need to kind of, you know, fix that up and kind of fix the depth of the linebacker position. I feel like, you know, they was, like you said, dropping like flies, and that's when they started getting people like Stephon Anthony. You know, he got a second time around, and Manti Te'o, he got a second time around. So you want to get guys that, you know, that are available. So, but I'm interested because the Saints got a lot of young players that went on IR at the linebacker position that had really good training camps, man.
I know you heard on my boy DA, and I just want to ask you this last question.
Uh-huh.
What about getting in Marvin Lewis or someone like that? Well, how would you feel about getting somebody in like that? You know, shit like that, or maybe, you know, Chris Richard at DB coach. Even though I think Aaron Glenn is a good DB coach and Dennis Allen is a good defensive coordinator, I just feel like this is how they teach these guys to play corner. They don't teach them to play corner, you know, not to, you know, get beat. They just teach them, you know, to just, you know, play through the man and not, you know, through the ball. And I think, you know, like you heard Dion say this, you know, on his network, you know, 95% of them out there scared. You know,
right.
trying to make a play.
Right.
They just trying not to get beat.
That's true.
And I think, you know, this is why when you come across a great defensive coordinator, you know, he's able to have guys in the secondary that are ball held guys. I mean,
right.
Even though Nick Saban looked terrible this year, that's what he was always known for.
Right.
LSU, you know,
right.
having guys with great ball skills. You know, same thing goes with Corey Raymond at LSU.
Right.
Being able to have great guys to play one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like this is what we have in the NFL. And when you get guys like out of LSU that come out, you have to chase them, man. And stop with these Ohio State guys. I mean, they're good. You know, some of them are good, but not on the level of what LSU has done over the years. The product that, you know, that they put out. I just don't think that it measures up for them, you know.
Well, to answer your question though, man, first off about Marvin Lewis, I think that Marvin Lewis is one of the best defensive coordinators of all time. I mean, the mastermind behind that Baltimore Ravens team. You know, I think that he did an outstanding job there. He would be a good defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. I think he would be an upgrade. Chris Richard, I think that this guy is, you know, would be a really good, you know, secondaries coach. But my thing about Chris Richard is, how long are you going to have him? Probably 1-2 years tops. I mean, this guy's like in line to be a head coach in the National Football League. So I don't know if I would be, you know, willing to, you know, get him because you don't know how long you're going to have him. The thing about Dennis Allen, you know, I don't have anything against Dennis Allen so much. It's just the fact that when he goes up against certain type of offensive coordinators, you know, guys that are known for their offense, he always get out coached. You know, and that's a problem for me, man. You got to be able to match wits with some of these guys. And you know, I think that some of the time, you know, the Saints suffer because of that. It's, you know, case in point, that San Francisco game. You know, I feel like Kyle Shanahan, you know, whooped him. You know what I'm saying? Like when like he was out there playing checkers and Kyle Shanahan was playing chess. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the biggest issue to me. Like Has he like improved the defense? Absolutely. I mean, you know how it was when Rob Ryan was here, 12 men in a huddle, late substitutions. I mean, it was always some issues going on. But I mean, him being well organized, him fixing the defense. I mean, he did an outstanding job. But once again, like I always say, I mean, I feel like there are certain coaches that may take you to that point, but they cannot take you any further. And I feel like when it comes to Dennis Allen, I feel like he got the Saints to a certain point, but I don't know if he can be able to get them over that hump. I feel like there's a dog mentality missing, my friend. I feel like there's a dog mentality missing from the New Orleans Saints. Man, you look, and it upsets you, man. It upsets you, Trayshawn, at the fact that you look at all these other teams that have struggled over the years, and then all of a sudden they get a new coach and a new attitude. You look at like the 49ers. What were they like, 5-11 last season? And now look at these guys. They're in the Super Bowl. They got some rough riders, some dogs out there on defense. You look at like the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? Like when Pete Carroll like first got there, they 7-9 and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden they improved their defense and they had one of the best and most elite defenses in the league. And then you watch the Saints year after year have like a high-powered offense when Drew Brees was in his prime and the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. It just becomes frustrating to you, man. And you just wonder to yourself, like, how much more I can take. And it frustrates you because you know they can do it.
You didn't think we had playing against the Falcons, how we looked against them? I mean that defense was like a shot.
Right.
What they had, like 7 sacks. Gardner was in there. I think that was a key. I think they overthought themselves when they came back after the Titans game. I want to say the Titans game. I mean, I think that's when they had reached a peak, but I think that they overthought themselves because they should have left the secondary the way that it was. I thought when they allowed the playoffs to come, started bringing back Williams and P.J. Williams, and they should have left Gardner and Patrick Robinson in because they were just playing better. They had got better production out there.
Right.
Every time you look, Chauncey Gardner was in the backfield. As good as Von Bell is, he's just not the player that Chauncey Gardner is.
Right.
He's not. And I thought that it took away from the attitude because if you look at that Falcons game, man, I mean, the whole year, though, the Saints played with some attitude. That front seven played, like no other. I'm just saying, the Mario Davis, I don't know how this man does not make a Pro Bowl.
Me neither. I don't know either.
I don't know what's going on.
Me neither.
In their minds, but maybe they lost something.
Mm.
But I just feel like it's more of the secondary, and I feel as though, they overthink themselves when it comes to that.
Right.
But they never had a secondary that was any, like productive to them other than, when they won the Super Bowl, and which is why they won the Super Bowl. You're taking the ball away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they just should have left it when they had it. Jack Rabbit, Patrick Robinson, and Lattimore, and should have left it more like that instead of tweaking it how they did when they played after the Carolina game.
Right.
When they got the playoff. I think they messed up on that.
Right. I mean, well, like I said, the defense improved, but I feel like they could have. It wasn't the same way. I was really upset at the defense like down the stretch because I feel like they could have played a whole lot better. When Drew Brees was hurt, that was probably the best I've seen that defense play in about a decade. And and it made you think. You was like, I don't think the Saints are going to lose another game. I mean, I was thinking that. I was like, can you when Drew get back, I was like, ain't no way they're going to lose another game. It's like everybody play improved when Teddy Bridgewater was in there. And it's like they forgot how to play defense, and they made like a whole bunch of mistakes when Drew got back. And it's like, okay, Drew back, you know what I'm saying? He'll be able to bail us out. That's the like. I feel like if they would have kept that same type of intensity they had in those first 5 weeks when Teddy Bridgewater, and I guess you know what I'm saying, you can even throw a little bit of that Rams game in. I just think that they kind of, were going through the motions. I mean, Drew Brees go down first time, ever. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never seen that. I feel like they were going through the motions, but man, that defense was playing lights out for them 5 weeks. And like I said, it made you even think like, man, do we have the best defense in football right now? And then all of a sudden it's like went downhill. You know what I'm saying? Like what the heck happened? No,
I mean, I just think every time they try to tweak that secondary, and I mean, they went got Apple, and I understood it, but I thought they made a mistake early when they didn't get Hargraves. I thought they should have grabbed Hargraves when he came out. But I
mm-hmm.
said, when you living right, you're doing right, you get some right things happen for you. They wound up getting Jack Rabbit when they didn't think that they should have. Because see, Sean Payton, I think just like you say, he got the ego inside of Texas in the last time. I mean, this dude here, he won't go out and make the necessary adjustments that we need, and I think it's costing us year after year. I
Right.
mean, we knew we needed a receiver. There's no way you can go in late December and start playing teams in the playoffs when it matters, and you think that you could just shout out Michael Thomas out there and just keep these people, with one player. It's not going to work like that, man.
That's arrogance. That's arrogance right there. Like that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's about arrogance. He feels as if, I got all the answers. He has this watch this type mentality. He feel like no matter who goes out there, whoever he parades out there, they'll do. They can get it done. And I feel like he did kind of cost his team. That's why I was saying earlier, he got to put his ego aside in order for the Saints to become successful, man. He got to swallow his pride in a lot of ways. And one thing in particular is definitely running the ball a lot more and not being so, dependent on Drew Brees. And I feel like that's the reason why the Saints couldn't get over the hump, because they depended so much on Drew Brees, to, save them. They didn't try to, focus on the running game. And I feel like if they would have continued to stay the course, the same way it was when Bridgewater was there, they were running the football. They had a balanced attack. They were playing good defense. I mean, who knows how far they would have went in the postseason? Because, I mean, if they would have got, like me personally, if I feel like if they would have got past the Minnesota Vikings, they would have beat the Packers. Like, I mean, that's just me. The Packers were smoking. I saw that coming for weeks. I knew for a fact that they wasn't that good. And I feel like the Saints, they could have beat them. So, and who knows, you go to San Francisco, who knows, who knows what would have happened? I mean, they match up pretty well. So,
they'd have to play Seattle. I don't think they would have beat Seattle. Because this time Seattle gave them too much, all of his hands. So we probably would have been hosting the NFC Championship game.
Yep. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's another thing too. That's another thing I was thinking about, because, man, I think Seattle, like you said, Seattle would have beat them, and we would have been in the NFC Championship right there in New Orleans. But I mean, all this right now, just wishful thinking and hypotheticals right now, man. But
you're right. But it's what seems going now, and I just feel like everybody don't want to let Drew Brees go. And sometimes it's hard to walk away from what you've done most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's so successful at it.
Right.
But sometimes you just gonna have to let loose. Because at the end of the day, nobody can be part of time. Like,
right.
It's Drew Brees' time. It's not that we don't appreciate what he did.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a business. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We got to be of the mindset of a New England Patriots. It's not a Saints fan. This is our Hall of Fame quarterback. We've never had one. Besides us, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now we want to just hold on to him for the next 10 years as long as he wants to play. And it don't go like that.
Right.
He's doing the best for the football team, the
right.
franchise.
Exactly.
The quarterback, he's dependable. He's just not the answer right now. And as much as we love him, we have to move on. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
but
man.
I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your show, man.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem. Man, you already know. You already know, man. Me and you always have these debates, and you have a strong opinion, about the team, and you share like the same type of passion as me, man. And I appreciate you calling in, man, and giving your take on it. And call back again, man. I appreciate this, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I want to ask you, man, is there any tips I could do with you're doing. Something you can send me in an email or something like that because I would like to do what you're doing. You know, you inspire me to do what you're doing, especially in journalism.
Oh man, I appreciate that, man. I mean, you definitely can do what I'm doing, man. You know, man, if you're passionate about the game, and I can tell, you know, just the conversation that we had that you are. It's just a matter of just, you know, it's just a matter of doing, man. You know, I always say I started out, you know, upset that the Saints lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you know, week one, year after, you know, year before last, and I couldn't believe that they lost to Ryan Fitzpatrick in the Superdome in week one, and you know, I ended up, you know, I work at a radio station, man. I work for 90.9, you know, and I stayed right around the corner from the radio station. I was just so upset. And I went over around the corner, and, you know, I was just venting all my frustrations. And then I played it back, and I was like, man, this sounds pretty good. So I ended up, you know, just putting it out there. I didn't think that nothing was going to come of it, but, you know, I got a, you know, positive response from it. And, you know, I've always been passionate about sports and stuff like that. So it's just a matter of just being consistent, man, and just enjoying what you're doing. I mean, there's no secret behind that. I was just talking to my girl before I ended up going on live, and you know, I was just telling them, man, you know, people always come up with these different ideas. You know, they be trying to sell you about building brands and how to have a strong YouTube channel. But there's no secret, you know, there's no secret anybody can give you, man. It's about consistency and it's about drive and passion. That's the only recipe for success, man. So I can tell you have the passion. So it's just a matter of doing it, man. You know, just going out there and, you know, just you know, letting people know how you feel about it, man. And if you're speaking, you know, from a passionate place, people have no choice but to feel what you're saying, bro. So good luck to you, man.
No, good luck to you too, man. Thank you.
All right, call back again, man. I enjoyed this conversation.
No problem. You too, man.
All right, you too. All right, this is my guy Trey Sean, man. Very strong, opinionated individual. You know, I enjoy the conversations. I mean, he supports the State of the Saints on Facebook, YouTube, man, and you know, that's what it's all about. Once again, man, I don't know if anybody else is thinking about a podcast. I know Iceman, he has one. You know, it's just about going out there, just being passionate, man. You know, whatever you do, just do it because you love it, man. It don't worry about the numbers. Don't look at how many people viewed your channel. Don't worry about how many people comment. You know, just work and just have love for what you're doing, man, and everything else is going to fall in line. You know, I'm a believer, you know, in God, and I feel like what he has for you is for you, and nobody can take that away from you. So I don't know if anybody's out there thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or even if you're trying to start a new chapter in your life, or maybe you're trying to take on different challenges. Just do it to the best of your ability, man. Do it with everything that you have, and you know, nobody can deny you after that. You know, that's the only advice I can give to anybody, you know, but, you know, it's always humbling to hear people, man. I believe people say I inspire them. I mean, I'm still at a loss for words because of that, because you all inspire me. Y'all just don't know. Y'all inspire me more in more ways than y'all think, you know, and I appreciate each and every one of you that chime in and take the time out to view the videos. I really do. Let's see. Cries, what's going on, man? Running the ball and Sean Payton should never be in the same sentence. This dude philosophy ain't changing. I agree with that. And this philosophy ain't not gonna change, and he's gonna be out of a job. And we all know, no matter how much a fan base loves you, if you're not generating results, I mean, they're gonna chunk up the deuce to you. And Drew Brees didn't look like he cared what happened in the game, and Sean Payton is still not over the no call. Yeah, I mean, in ways I'm not over that either. You know, I mean, that call changed the course of history, so I can understand that. That's something you might never get over, but I can understand because I mean we just fans. But he's a coach; he has to focus on the day-to-day operations and continue to you know, elevate the team. So I get that, but I understand the human element of it all. I mean, that's kind of hard to get over. I want to also thank the Truth Hurts, man. I know I was on the phone. The Truth Hurts. He donated $5 through the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your kind words. Always good listening to you, brother, man. It's always good to hear from you. The truth hurts. I always see your comments in the chat, and man, you have a strong opinion as well, man. I appreciate that passion. And everybody that donated, through super chats, thank you all very much. You all, donating whatever you can. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. The truth hurts. Speaking of which, I've been saying this for a while. Drew Brees needs to retire past the torch. He had the torch, but he got a flashlight. He want to pass flashlight. Good for him. Is that a torch or a flashlight? That's like a flashlight on the emoji side. You need to pass the torch over to Taysom Hill. Read option offense. Think about it. Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Deontay Harris in the backfield. Man, check this out right here. I want people to go ahead and check out this interview. I'm going to post it on the State of the Saints podcast Facebook channel. It was Colin Cowherd. We don't like him, but he had Shannon Sharp on the show. And I want people to listen to what Shannon Sharp had to say about the quarterback position, because I've been saying this for the last month and a half, maybe even longer, about the quarterback position and how it's changing. But when I say it, it seems like I'm hating on Drew Brees. I don't like him and all this stuff here. So maybe if you hear from a 3-time Super Bowl winner and a Hall of Famer, maybe it don't seem like I'm just hating on Drew Brees if you hear from somebody that actually been there and not somebody that just watch it on TV like myself. I'm just saying. I'm going to go ahead and put that video out immediately following the State of the Saints right here on this live YouTube channel. And I'm going to let y'all hear it, man, so people can see that I'm not hating. I'm not the only person that's seeing what's going on here. I would hate for the Who That Nation to start booing us, man. Yeah, it'd be sad, man. And especially Drew Brees. I wouldn't want them to boo him either. And we all know that, they would do it. They would do it. Taysom is too old, bro. It's a little too late for him. I disagree with that. I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, quarterbacks are playing well into their 40s now, So, I mean, all those years not really getting hit. And I think a lot of people are missing a very important part too. I mean, you got to remember Aaron Rodgers was like 29, almost 30 years old when he got the opportunity to be the starter for the Green Bay Packers. You can't forget that, man. We got to muster up some players and try at this thing again. Yeah, we're going to have to, man. The door is almost closing. The window is closing. Whatever open is about to close. So they need to figure something out. What was up with them hand signs in that Pro Bowl pick? I have no idea. I don't know. I ain't even watch the Pro Bowl. I ain't even watch it. I think the Pro Bowl is an absolute joke. Those guys out there just holding hands singing "We Are the World." It's an embarrassment. I feel like they just need to get rid of the Pro Bowl, because those guys don't be out there playing for real. Those guys out there, man, these guys are on vacation with their family and friends. It's just a joke now. I'm real, TJ. I'm hating on Breeze. I'm calling it for what it is. Time to go. Man, I don't think you hating on Breeze, man. I know you not. I just think that this is a, observation. I think it's a close observation. I think it's something that you're noticing, and you're not the only person. You're not the only person that's seeing it that way. Chosen say, I feel like that defense played lights out when Teddy was out, because Sean Payton didn't believe in Teddy. And if he was a 5-0 quarterback, let's be honest, most of us didn't see that coming. Run game was good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wish he not have some faith in Drew Brees so he can run the football a little bit more. So maybe if we keep on saying that Drew Brees don't have his fastball anymore, maybe if Drew Brees comes back, he'll run the football some more. He probably don't trust Teddy Bridgewater. Probably didn't. But in the process, the Saints became better because he didn't. So that tells you everything you need to know. What this fool talking about, Taysom like 23. Now, Taysom 29 years old, Trayshawn. He pretty up there in age. He started off, you got to know, like, when you go to BYU first, you play 4 years, and then you have to go on some kind of missionary journey first for a whole entire year. So most players from BYU end up going to the league probably at like age 25 or 26 or something like that, you know, because they go on those missionary journeys. So Taysom, he did his missionary work and he came back. So he came. I think he started when he was like maybe like 25 or 26 years old in the NFL, but he's about to turn 30 years old. I think he's 29 right now. We can't keep wasting these opportunities. The Chiefs had that what 50 for their next one. Yeah, that's true. The Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, they did have 50 years, you know, but I don't think the Saints, I don't think it's gonna be 50 years before they do it. I hope not. No excuses. We need to capitalize while we can. We can't waste another season. Yeah, this it, man. Like for real. Like this the last season before the Saints really have to rebuild because they're gonna have to make some tough decisions. They got to make some tough decisions in the offseason this year, but they really got to make some tough decisions next year. No doubt about that. And also, man, I need to know because I didn't hear anybody say anything. But when Trayshawn called, were y'all able to hear the conversation? Can y'all comment and let me know if y'all were able to hear the conversation? Because that's very, very important for in the future. You know, if we go live on go live like this instead of the stream labs in the future. So let me know if y'all heard the conversation. Taysom was 23 in college, fam. Check your facts, son. Yeah, he was. You know, like I said, he was. You have to go on those missionary journeys, man. Like most of the Mormons, they go before they go to college or they do it after they go to college. Get a lockdown DB or two. It's a Super Bowl winning team next year, man. That and they need a more of a steady pass rush. You know, they don't need the pass rush to drop off. I'm way past due on donating to your channel, young blood. Keep up the great work. Cross, thank you so much for the $5 donation, man. You're not overdue, man. You know, I appreciate any donation you give, man. You know, so thank you so much, you know, for supporting the channel and also just checking out the videos. I always see your comments, man, and I thank you for that. I think we would have got a lot further if Teddy stayed under center. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one right there. But I do think they would have beat the Minnesota Vikings. That's the answer. Why does the defense regress when Drew is there? This organization uses Breeze as a crutch because Sean allows them to. You would think so, though, Iceman, because I mean the defense, you know, fell off when he came back, but they were playing lights out. So I mean, honestly, man, you couldn't, bruh. I didn't think the Saints were gonna lose another game. I was like, my goodness, man, if Drew come back and they playing like this on defense, because even when he came back, he came back for the Arizona Cardinal game. And I think the Arizona Cardinals only scored 9 points in that game. So I'm like, God, though, I'm like, they're not gonna lose another game. And sure enough, they lose to the Falcons. But anyway, yep, get rid of the Pro Bowl. I remember when we used to look forward to the Pro Bowl. Yeah, man, because those dudes really took that serious. And they used to take a lot of pride in that. The Pro Bowl used to mean something. But now, once again, all these dudes be saying is we are the world. They holding hands and want to be friends and sign jerseys and pose and swap jerseys and stuff. Man, dudes didn't do that when you know what I'm saying, when I was playing football, man. Ain't no, man, you man, bruh. Dudes talk so much trash, you wanted to fight dudes at the end. And if you play football in high school in New Orleans, you already know. You know, most of the time where you used to meet at on Canal Street. You know what I'm saying? Like people used to meet on Canal Street and fight. You know, like you weren't trying to swap jerseys, you weren't trying to be friends with nobody on the other team at all. You did not like them, you did not respect them at all. Okay, you wanted to take their head off. It wasn't no holding hands and all that stuff, man. It wasn't like that no more. I mean, I don't understand some of these cats these days, man. I don't. Iceman said loud and clear. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. CJ Henderson from Florida looking like a real possibility at 24. Yeah, I like him, man. Good cornerback, good solid guy. If he plays anything like CJ Gardner-Johnson, which I feel like he's better than CJ Gardner-Johnson, that's saying a lot. I think he would be a really good pick for the Saints, you know, but I don't know. I think Saints gonna go wide receiver or quarterback in the first round. Yeah, CJ Henderson, nice. I would take him, but they want They want that sexy pick. Yep, it's gonna be a quarterback or receiver, man. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a quarterback or receiver. I think we would have gone further with Teddy too. He just fit this team better. The defense is more alert when he's in there. When Breeze is there, the defense slacks and it's embarrassing. Man, it's because he brings the extra element, man. He can scramble in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? He can improvise. And that's something that's missing from Breeze's game. I couldn't hear Trayshawn very well. It was very low. Yeah, man. I don't, like I said, the thing about when I was on Streamlabs, man, I was able to control the volume. On this one, I don't know if it's high or is it low. I can hear it perfectly from my end, but the only thing is it sounded kind of muffled. You know what I'm saying? It sounded kind of muffled, so I had to kind of turn down the volume because it was sounding muffled. So I wasn't sure if how clear it was coming out. So I apologize for that. But once again, that's just one of those things we're gonna have to continue to work on, man. But I'm happy, man. I'm happy we got the phone lines. Y'all can thank Iceman for that because that's somebody that gave me the idea of doing that. So I enjoy, interacting with you all, get a voice behind the actual person, you know what I'm saying, that there's always chatting and stuff like that. And also just getting a perspective, man. I just want to make this show, a show for everybody where you can actually chime in. And I'm really looking forward to it, like when the season starts, where we can actually break down and talk about the games and talk about the positives and the negatives. That's going to be really exciting, especially like some of the things that's coming up too, like free agency and the combine and NFL draft and OTA. So it's going to be really exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it. But let's see. So TJ, you did. Sean has been generating success. So are you saying you're okay with going 13-3 for the next 5 years? Getting in the playoffs and lose? Absolutely not, Iceman. I'm not saying that at all. But I do think that, you can't win the big one unless you make the playoffs. Okay. So if they can go 13-3, I'll be okay with that. But I want to see some results, man. They haven't reached that point where, people are just like, man, the only reason why that Sean Payton is not thought like the modern day Marty Schottenheimer is because he actually won a Super Bowl. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why Sean Payton gets the benefit of the doubt. I mean, honestly, Sean Payton is the Richard Sherman of head coaches right now, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I mean by that. Okay. Richard Sherman is a really good cornerback. He's been a really good cornerback since he came into the league. I want to say around 2010, 2011, something like that. Been a really good cornerback that whole entire time. But honestly, he lost the step, but he's basically making it on reputation right now. And I think that Super Bowl game yesterday indicates just that. Okay. I mean, he talks a good game and, he can – go out there and he can play. But I just feel like people just look at him and say, oh, man, that's Richard Sherman. I'm not throwing to his side. They don't even try to, they don't even try to challenge him at all. They just look at number 25 on the jersey and say, I'm not going that way. So I think he's making it off reputation. This is the same way with Sean Payton. I think people just look at him as this elite play caller. And, that's the reason why, his name is brought up when they talk about great coaches. But if you look at it, man, Sean Payton has really squandered the prime of Drew Brees not getting guys in the building that need to get there. I think that the Saints could have been in Super Bowl contention a couple years, but Sean Payton just squandered it. Bad business deals, a bunch of dead money, guys that don't deserve the money, bad leadership, all that stuff. So I feel like he's making it off reputation right now. He's an elite play caller, but I don't think he's the best play caller in football like people making him out to be. I think he lost his fastball. I think that he is one of the main reasons why the New Orleans Saints can't get over that hump, because he's too Drew Brees dependent. And, I think he's not looking at some of these young guys, and I don't think he trusts some of these younger guys. He's too busy living vicariously through Drew Brees. I look at Sean Payton as being a struggling quarterback that played quarterback when the NFL went on strike back in 1987 for the Chicago Bears. He never panned out, never was really that good. And he sees himself in Drew Brees. So when Drew Brees breaks a record, I think he looks at himself breaking a record. If Drew Brees goes out there and goes to the Hall of Fame, I think he looks at it like he's going to make his way to the Hall of Fame. So I think sometimes he lives vicariously through Drew Brees, and he cares too much about records instead of actually winning championships, man. Because a lot of the plays, I feel like they probably be on the sidelines. Well, such and such 35 yards away, from having more receiving yards in a game or more receiving yards in a season, or like I feel like they care too much about records. But at the end of the day, man, nobody cares that much about records. Yeah, they'll talk about it. Yeah, they'll give you a game featured on Monday Night Football. They'll give you the spotlight. But at the end of the day, what did you really achieve? Absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, they might talk about you for the night. You might be Monday morning quarterback the next day. But when it's all said and done, nobody cares except for what Andy Reid and what Patrick Mahomes did on yesterday, and that's hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. If you're not winning multiple championships, if you're not submitting your legacy as being a champion and putting behinds in the seats, then nobody cares, okay? Sean Payton, no matter what happens, he won that Super Bowl, and that's what people are giving him the benefit of the doubt about. I mean, if he was just out here not winning Super Bowl and he was an elite play caller, they would be looking at him the same way they looked at Andy Reid before he won that Super Bowl. He would be close, but no cigars. So I don't care that much about records anymore. Do I get excited when they break records? Yes. Do I like the fact that they get the attention? Yes, because the Saints for years was getting all type of negative attention for being losers. So when they actually win, it does give me a sense of pride, especially being a native of New Orleans, growing up in the Ninth Ward, have to stomach some of that bull that be on TV and on the radio, and watching these quarterbacks throw more picks than Razor Ramon, and let these guys, have more turnovers than McKenzie's. You know what I'm saying? It was just some bad stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was just horrible to watch. So am I happy that they're actually doing some of these things? Absolutely. But I would take Super Bowls any day. Oh, look, you can keep all those records. You can keep the completion percentages. You can keep the all-time touchdown records. You can keep the all-time yards. Give me about 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, and I'm good, okay? I don't care nothing about no records, because records are made to be broken. And we know if you sneeze on a quarterback these days, you get anywhere near him, all of a sudden, they don't call a flag. So the way that the NFL is structured now, Drew Brees records are going to be shattered. I think he has like about 75,000 yards. You look at somebody like Patrick Mahomes, he might have like 85,000 yards. So once again, you are going to be remembered of how you played the game on the highest of high levels, and that is the Super Bowl. So if you ain't winning no Super Bowl, nobody cares. The real IB says, do you think the Chiefs farting at the line of scrimmage was giving Mahomes more times to throw? And do you think that's what turned the game? No. The real IB with the fart jokes once again. Thank you for donating the $5, man. I don't know if they were farting at the line of scrimmage, but if they did, it worked, my friend. But if you ask me my honest opinion, I think it was just the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs just wanted it a little bit more than Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. One team was playing to win. One team was playing not to lose. You look at how Andy Reid was playing in that game. He was playing very aggressive, going for it on 4th down, allowing his team to go out there and make plays. I mean, he just played to win, and Kyle Shanahan looked at the lead and he tried to sit on it, and it didn't work. So that's just my honest opinion about it, man. Mahomes, just the comeback king. Yeah, you got to say that right now. He's definitely capped the comeback right now. What's happening, TJ Dwayne? What's going on? You think we could have beat the Chiefs? I think we could have. It would have been a good game. Yeah, that would have been a good game. I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. That would have been a tough game. That's a really good football team. Sherman got burnt like a biscuit. Yeah, man. And not to mention he was put on a whirlwind too, man. Tyreek Hill was out there breaking that boy ankles down. Man, he's just not the player he once was, man. He just been living on reputation. And honestly, man, he lines up on one side and he plays zone coverage. I mean, that's what he does, man. Like, he has safety help over the top. So I mean, how good are you? I don't agree with Darrell Reeves going at his neck the way that he did, but I can understand it. I hate the fact that we wasted Drew Brees' prime, man. It's so unfortunate for his legacy and the organization legacy. I mean, man, just think of all the rings the Saints could have had if Sean stopped being crazy. Yep, that's true. We will find out this year. We play them at home. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Hopefully. I'll say this: the best team in the NFL didn't play in the Super Bowl. Our Saints. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. They can't seem to get out their own way. I wasn't mad at that, man. I mean, this Super Bowl right here, I don't think a lot of people will argue about the teams that were in it because, I mean, these teams were two of the best teams in football. Seeing the Niners fan parade in the street of NOLA makes seeing them lose way better. Man, the 49ers, they cost themselves the game. They can blame Kyle Shanahan, the Super Bowl choke artist, for that one. Chiefs know how to lose. Mahomes is the truth. Or know how to close, excuse me. Yeah, he is the truth, man. And just imagine, man, we could have possibly had this dude. The Saints could have did the same thing the Chiefs did. Which defenders are going in your opinion? Eli Apple, PJ Williams. This is gonna be a tough one. Those two right now, I would say are gonna be gone. I'm trying to think about who else is a free agent. I think they're gonna bring back AJ Klein. But PJ Williams and Eli Apple probably the only two off the top of my head I can see that's gonna be gone. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, man. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Thank y'all very much for checking it out. We're probably going to go live again later in the week so you all can call in and ask your questions and give your comments. I really enjoyed this episode, man. Just hearing from different individuals, listening to you all give comments and give feedback about the team. Once again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Please hit the like button. If you like the video, I really appreciate that. Thank you all for your love and your support. And also, please subscribe to the State of the Game podcast. I just posted a video talking about Super Bowl 54. So I talked a little bit about Mahomes on this edition, but I broke down the Super Bowl and I gave my opinion about that. So YouTube.com, search the State of the Game podcast. You got to type in the State of the Game podcast, and you're probably not going to find it. Okay. I would really love if you all subscribe to the channel. If you like sports, we talk about some of the hottest topics in sports. So please subscribe to the channel. And it's also on Facebook, facebook.com, search the State of the Game. So if you're on Facebook, look it up. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Once again, my name is TJ Jones. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?